What's going on, guys? I am back with a show and tell. I think about a month ago, I did a show and tell on a 19X that I purchased. And anyway, I had gotten some work done to it. It's not 100% complete, but here is my 19X. So what I had done is I had slide work done to it, and I also had it optic cut for the HoloSun 509T. So it's specifically cut for this. There's no adapter plate or anything on it. And I'm running Ameriglow all blacked out, 0.335 sights, which are perfect for this thing. So you can see the co-witness. It doesn't take up more than probably not even a third of the window, and you can see the red dot very clear in there. So I am super impressed with the millwork of the slide and also the Cerakote. This is probably one of the best Cerakote jobs I had done on any of my firearms, and any Cerakote, anything I've ever had done. So I'm gonna tell you a little story about the two companies. So first and foremost, they are local. I live in Oklahoma City, and the guy that does his slide work lives about 20 minutes west of me, and he actually is affiliated with the company. So the guy's company, the company name of the guy that does the slide work is called North Sea Machine. He's on Instagram. He's got a lot of beautiful work on there. Does it right out of his garage. I'm assuming he does it when he gets off work or something. He guarantees a 3-day turnaround. So the other thing with this is he is, I'm assuming, friends or some type of working relationship with the guy that does the Cerakote, who actually lives 20 minutes south of me in Norman, Oklahoma, that does the Cerakote. And their company is called Harsh Firearms. So I have not shot this yet. I just got it on Saturday, and today is Tuesday, day after Labor Day. But he allowed me to design the slide. I told him what I wanted. Told him I wanted it super aggressive up front. So the positive thing, and I mentioned this in my last video about the 19X. This is a 19X is basically blank, so there's definitely more options that you can get done to these slides versus the Gen 5s with the front cocking serrations. So I want to get this in there really good so you guys can really see the detail in it. So obviously nothing from where my middle finger is back. Well, actually I lie. He chamfered the rear of the slide, pretty much mimic the front. So he made it more flush with the frame. I'm not sure how well this camera angle is picking it up. I'm doing this on my iPad. So it's pretty much flush. So he likes to do lightning cuts in his slides. I understand the purpose of lightning cuts. It lightens the slide, and especially if you're mounting an optic, it's kind of balancing out the weight for the recoil spring in there. The only reason I didn't want lightning cuts in there, because he can make any size ones. He has little ones to elongated lightning cuts on the sides and the front. I'm one of those people that a lot of you will cringe on. I do press checks, and the last thing I want to do is a press check after putting a couple hundred rounds to this thing, and somewhere on the underneath of my hand going in those lightning cuts and touching that hot barrel. That's definitely something I've just kept in mind. So most likely we'll never see a lightning cut on any of my firearms. So I don't know how new these are. When I first seen them, I hated them. I did not like the 509T. They're big, bulky, but they do have pros and cons also. But the pro that I like, that I've been reading, and my buddies that run these, is that they were closed emitters or open emitters. No, I think they're closed emitters. So if there's rain or whatever, if basically it's rain, or if there's dirt or dust or something that gets in there, your glass is pretty much flush with the housing. So it's easy to wipe off, clear off. Same thing on the front. It's not too concaved in there. Here, I'm going to get it at an angle so you can kind of see the reflection of the glass, but more so the back. So basically your firearm's sitting vertical like this in a holster, or you're handling it down, whatever it be. I have a buddy that runs this same exact optic on a 45-degree cant on his AR. So the con that I don't like about this is because both the glasses are so close to the outside, the outer housing, is your hands touch them. And I don't know about you, but every optic I own, as soon as your palm or your finger touches that, your prints are on there, which clouds the sight picture. I know that's nitpicking. Some of you are going to be like, "Oh, you're just being a little crybaby, whatever." I'm telling you the truth. That's what it is. So I find that I'm carrying these things around especially when I go shooting. I always have a couple of these in my gun bag. Another reason I didn't want a lightning cut and also ported is blowback. After each shot, blows back into the glass, and you're going to be constantly wiping that thing down. So, another positive thing about this is actually titanium. The housing on this is titanium, so it's much lighter. And from my understanding too, is that these are being discontinued. They're coming out with an X2 model. The only thing I can think that they're going to change on that is it's going to go from a red dot to a green dot. Kind of like those are the steps that Holosun's normally been taking lately when they come out with an additional model of some red dot that they have. I'm not going to go into specs on the 509T, but you can see there's a solar panel on top. I think there's a misconception out there of the solar panel on top that it's going to recharge the battery that's in there. That's not what it's for. It's not what it's designed for. Do your homework on these, and once you figure out how these things operate, your life will become so much simpler when you run a red dot. I believe that I was under that misconception that, oh, it's got a solar panel, so my battery is going to last 10 extra years, and that's not what the solar panel is designed for. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me on there. I could go on and on about what these are designed for and what they do and their purpose that the purpose that they serve. So, anyway, I'm going to point this at you guys. I just really want to show you guys the detail of this slide work. So one thing that I mentioned to the guy when I dropped my slide off, I said I want it super aggressive. I want this really aggressive. And I think that's where Glock missed the milestone when they did a front cocking serrations. They are very slick. Their cocking serrations, a lot of it could be attributed to their finish that's on there. But I can't tell you how many times my hand has slipped off those front cocking serrations. And I know some of you are probably going to jump me on here saying, "Oh, you shouldn't do that anyway. You should rack from the rear, yada yada yada." But now that I'm running an optic, sure, I can rack off of the optic itself, but I like several options and opportunities. If I need to rack from the back, if I need to rack from the front. So this is super aggressive. Like, this will put calluses and blisters on your hands if you operate this pretty much all day playing around with it at home, like I have been doing. So the next thing I'm going to do with this is I'm figuring out who I'm going to send the frame out to. I definitely want a stipple job, and it'll be done. But I don't know if any of you run Ameriglow sights. I really dig the blacked out rears. Actually, these sights, they are metal. Ameriglow's got a great reputation. I didn't really care about a fiber optic or a night sight on the front. I mainly want blacked out rears. It's just something for me for my target acquisition and for my eyesight. I don't want to be looking at 2 extra white dots, green dots, red dots, whatever, and also trying to center my red dot from the actual optic. I'm not sure if that made sense, but I'm sure some of you will figure it out what I was just trying to say. So anyway, the biggest this is me, and I'm sure there's a lot of you that are like me out there. Give me 1 second, guys. There's a lot of companies out there across the country that do this kind of work. And what comes with that is lead time. And I don't know about you, regardless of how many firearms I have, I don't want to be without a gun for any length of time. Especially you have to go through the process of sending it out, and then it's going to sit there at their shop for however long because they're just so backlogged or their books are closed. And I'm not taking anything away from these guys. Everybody does phenomenal work. I've not seen a slide yet, and I'm sure there's some out there where they just look really shitty. But a lot of these guys have a great reputation. They've built that clientele base up, and there are some companies out there that have a 16-week lead time, and sometimes their books are only open twice a year. So it's going through the process of sending out, whether it just be the slide or the entire firearm. You're going to be without it for quite some time. And I was lucky enough to be in an area where a buddy of mine said, hey, I heard this guy that lives right next to me. He does slide work out of his garage, and he took a couple of his Glocks there, and he guarantees his 3-day turnaround time. It's actually 3 days or less, depending on the day of the week that you drop it off to him. So clearly the guy doesn't work on weekends, so that's all he's doing in his garage on the weekends is machining slides. And he actually, if you drop it off to him and he completes it by a Friday, he will deliver the slide to this Harsh Firearms place to do the Cerakote. So I really wanted to do, and this is something I'm going to get into, some of you are probably wondering what color this is. So I really wanted them to match the factory Glock color, but apparently Glock owns the rights to that Cerakote color. So if they were to order it, he would have to pay an additional fee, which means I would have to pay an additional fee. So when this was all sandblasted and smoothed out and everything from all the machining lines, he was updating me and sending me pictures of it. And I was like, damn, that looks badass the way it is. Let's do like a gray or something. And he shot out a suggestion. He's like, why don't you do tungsten? And I was like, all right, let's do that. So this is actually a tungsten color Cerakote. So if any of you live around Oklahoma, whether it be in the surrounding states or something, look these guys up on Instagram. They are fast, they're efficient. They take work from outside of state, and I'm really impressed with their turnaround time. Now, when I actually went to this guy's house to drop this off, he met me outside and he had his garage door kind of halfway open, and I wasn't being nosy or anything, but I could see like all his tools and bench and everything. But when I went back to pick this up, he actually went back there and picked the slide up from Harsh Firearms. I mean, this guy had a rack of slides, and they were all his that he was doing tests on and doing different cuts and everything. And but anyway, if you live in the surrounding states of Oklahoma, reach out to this guy, North Sea Machine. I'm not affiliated with him. I'm giving credit where credit's due. It was $150 to do the slide, and that's actually with the optic cut also. And it was $80 to do the Cerakote. So all in all, I was without a gun for 8 days, and well, this gun I should say, and it cost me $230 total. And then I went to my local gun shop and bought the 509T and then the sights, and we are good to go. So as of now, I'm just weighing out some options of where to send out the frame, because again, I don't want this to be gone for 2 to 8 weeks, and there's a lot of folks out there that are backlogged, and some with their books are still open and they still have a pretty big lead time. There is a guy out there that guarantees a 3-day turnaround time. He looks fairly new to the game of stippling frames, and he's got a decent price, but I'm kind of leery on sending it to him just for the fact that you could tell it looks like it's done by a beginner. I'm more of a functional person versus a materialistic person. If it functions and everything's right, like it's designed for the way it's intended. Speaking of the stipple work, I'll use it, it's fine. But for how beautiful this slide turned out and everything, I definitely want the frame to match it. So I hope that made sense to you guys also. But anyway, guys, we're at 15 minutes here, just over 15 minutes. I just wanted to do a show and tell off. Probably shouldn't have wore a gray shirt in the background, but let's just take one more look at that. Fantastic work. Really good craftsmanship. You can tell the guy knows what he's doing on a mill machine. So, and he will do any design that you want that will accommodate, like if you're running a red dot or not, he'll do any cut you want. And that's what's awesome. So he does have plans drawn out already of cuts that he normally does. But if there's something else that you want done, hey, it's your gun. He'll do what you want. He'll just charge you for it. So anyway, guys, if you have any questions, let me know. Give me some thumbs up. Let me know you like it. And I will talk to y'all soon.